الحمد لله غافر الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيه وعبده بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his prophet and messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. O you who believe, indeed, khamr, and the scholars explain the word khamr with anything that affects the brain. So it either takes it away, takes parts of it away, or slows it down. Anything that covers the intelligence of a person, it's khamr. That's the same word that for the women they call khimar, is what covers their head. إنما الخمر. So the substance that intoxicates, إنما الخمر, or slows down. والميسر, gambling. والأنصاب والأزلام, idols that people worship. Sometimes they could be even people. رجس من عمل الشيطان. Some of the worst of what shaitan pushes us to do and tell us to do. فاجتنبوه, stay away from it. Give it your side and run away. لعلكم تفلحون. So you might be successful not only in this life but also in the hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما يريد الشيطان أن يوقع بينكم العداوة والبغضاء. Indeed, shaitan, all what it wants is to create animosity among you. With what? Using what? Bil khamri. The first thing, intoxication. And things that brings you intoxication. Wal maysiri, again, the gambling. وَيَصُدُّكُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Shaitan wants to keep you away from memorizing Allah, from remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he wants to keep you away from praying. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. Are you going to quit? Are you going to stop doing that? That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered. And with this, the story of intoxication, the story of khamr, the story of liquor, the story of drugs have finished. Now I'm going to tell you a story. Story that happened not too far from here. St. Catherine to be exact. And I want you to imagine that story as I'm telling you. All of a sudden, when this family is sitting in the house, doing whatever they want to do, a bunch of police storm in, fill up the house, shouting, freeze, everybody freeze, raise your hands up, do not resist arrest. And then they will go in to each and every room, and in less than a minute, they've already apprehended everybody. And then they take out the young man, about 20 years old, a Muslim. They take him out, and now he is handcuffed, other than the rest of the family. And with him, from his room, they also bring two bags. One that have money, a lot of money, that his dad didn't give him, and one that has something that looks like drugs. And they are reading him his right. You have the right to remain silent and all of that stuff that we see in the movies. I want you to imagine the surprise of the parents. I want you to imagine their shame that their son is a drug dealer. I want you to imagine the disappointment of that father and that mother of all what they have tried to bring him up right, and then what they get is a son with handcuffs on him and the police that have stormed the house. Look at this surprise. But the surprise does not stop. That happened 19 times in St. Catherine and the Falls, Niagara Falls City. 19 times. You want the big surprise? It's still to come. Out of those 19, and I read the arrest report, and I read the names. Out of those 19, 18 of them Muslim names. 18 Muslim names. Is that a surprise? It should be. All of these 19 people are between the age of 18 and 22, except for one was about 28 years old. All of them are facing not carrying the position of drugs, they're facing trafficking. That means they sell, they're merchants of drugs. And that constitute 20 years of jail. We have 18 Muslims that are going to spend, each and every one of them, 20 years in jail. Now, why am I telling you this story at the beginning of the khutbah? I'm not trying to make you feel bad. What I'm trying to do is to bring your attention to every word after this. From now on, please open up your heart and open up your ears. Maybe we can learn something. The reason why I'm telling you this, I know, I understand. People who come to the masjid, they are some of the best people in Canada. They probably are the furthest from using drugs and doing that. Probably. At least most of them, I know that. But we'll never know. If we have a friend, if we have a son, we don't want to be surprised. We want to know the symptoms of being a drug dealer or somebody that uses drugs. If you have an addict in the somebody that is addicted to drugs or alcohol, you want to know. And you want to know what the signs are. And then you want to know what to do about it. But for those who actually use drugs, because when you talk to young people in North America, they'll tell you, yes, you're talking about heroin and cocaine, and you're talking about, these drugs that you have to buy, and you're talking about liquor. But, there's some substances, there's some actual natural stuff. Like weed and marijuana, it's natural. And you know what? I can perfectly conduct all my affairs while I'm under that influence. So it's not really a drug. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, as was narrated by Salama radiyallahu anha, نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن كل مسكر ومفتر. That means what is haram is anything that intoxicates you, whether it takes away all your intelligence, like liquor and hard drugs, or it makes it slow down. It kind of relaxes you. Both of them are haram, whether it's natural or not. They think if the government makes it halal, if the government makes it okay and legal, that they can use it. No, it's still haram. And you know what's even worse than that? When the government makes it okay, it's gonna get worse. It already got worse. The news that I got, and I get this from one of the brothers that is interested in working with youth and drugs and all of that stuff. He said now marijuana is being dipped into another substance that gives them hallucinations. And it burns their brains so they can get more high. So how would the person know that he is now addicted to it? The scholar said there is three things. The first thing is he wants more. As time goes by, one joint is not enough. One smoke is not enough. He wants 2 or 3. But eventually, all that is not enough. And then he gets to the hardcore, the heroin and cocaine and all that stuff. And once they get there, wal-iyadu billah, it becomes almost impossible to get away from it. Not impossible, but it becomes almost impossible. That's point number 1. So we have a lot of people today, because it's an off day. If you can come to the front, تفسحوا في المجالس يفسح الله لكم. Make as much space as possible. Fill up all the spaces. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a place for you in Jannah. So the first thing is that as time goes on, they want more. The second thing is the person that is addicted, he will spend more and more money. They used to spend $1,000 a month. Now they're spending $2,000. If it's somebody that is your son and you usually give him $50 a week, now he wants $100. And the third thing is they start lying. They have to lie. Why is your eyes red? You think they're going to tell you they've been smoking weed or taking any kind of alcohol? No. They'll tell you, well, I didn't sleep enough. I have allergies. They will lie. Why are you late? Why didn't you show up? They will give you another lie. So these are 3 things, main things, for somebody to know that he's addicted to that item. The dangers of these substances that intoxicate. The first thing the scholars, the doctors tell us that they burn, they actually kill the brain cells. Especially these hallucination, the hallucination part of it. It actually kills the brain. And once it's dead, it's not like the rest of the body that the body can rebuild it. It's gone once and for all. So yes, you are taking away your intelligence for a little while, but it's going to go forever, just one at a time, one cell at a time. The second thing is, since they need a lot more money, because now they're buying drugs, most probably they're going to start stealing. In their houses, money will start disappearing. To the point that some people went out with guns and weapons to rob people and kill sometimes. We've seen cities where these gambling and drugs grow up, usually crime also go up. Another thing that they could do, they could sell their bodies and the honor, the dignity. And imagine if that's a girl that's doing it. Alhamdulillah, we don't have too many girls, but still, just imagine if that's one of them. Those are some of the things. Now, in North America, I did my own survey, about 25 of our youth. And I'm going to tell you this so you would be prepared, not so you'd be scared. The kids that don't come to the masjid, their parents, they're not very interested in bringing them into the programs like the ones that the brother was talking about. Those have 100%, the survey says 100% of them, each and every one of them, either used or attended, or he attends, or she attends places where drugs and alcohol are used. 100%. Now, and this really did not surprise me. The one that really surprised me are those young men that are here in the masjid. Even with those, when you add them to the old one, the percentage is, for those who actually attended a setting where drugs were used or alcohol was used, was 75%. I know this is not a scientific survey, but I'm telling you, out of 25 Muslim youth, half of them actually come to the masjid and to the activities. Still, maybe they did not use it, but they attended. And once they attend, what's going to happen? One day they're going to be feeling low. And that's when it's going to start. They'll feel bad enough, they don't care. Because that's how the youth, that's what they tell us. How did you start? Well, I was feeling down. My father does not respect me. My mother always make dua against me. And that's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Mothers, fathers making dua against their kids. Tell you the truth, that's the worst thing you can ever do. What if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens to your dua? And then what's going to happen? وَيَدْعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِالشَّرِّ دُعَاءَهُ بِالْخَيْرِ وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. Subhanallah. You want to make dua for your kid, not against your kid. So they'll say, oh, my father does not respect me. Our parents don't understand me. They're backwards. They're from back home. Or every time I see them, they ridicule me. Every time I see them, they're just talking about how bad my grades are or how bad am I in behavior. They always blame me. So what happens is one day I was feeling low enough and somebody gave me a cigarette. And you know, cigarette is not haram. Well, just to let everybody know, cigarette used to be makruh. And since the doctors have agreed that it does harm the body, all the scholars that I know said that it's haram. But I'm just going to tell you how they tell us. So they start with cigarette. Cigarette doesn't cut it after a while. Marijuana starts. And you know what? Usually they give them the marijuana at first and the sheesh and all that stuff. They give it to them for free until they're hooked. And once they're hooked, they want more and more and more. Well, I have seen one of these young men. He was all the way to heroin and everything. We tried to work with him. We tried so hard. But then the young man, another young man was working with him. His family just gave up. And they threw him in the street. So one of his friends took him and let him live in his store. He stole his stuff. He stole his merchandise. And he sold it for bits and pieces, not much money at all. We tried to help him in the masjid. He did stuff. Anyway, once they get to that point of hard liquor, hard drugs, it's very hard to come back. There is a way, yes, there is ways, but it's very hard. So how do I know? From the beginning, from the get-go, how do I know that my son or my friend or my brother is getting into that part? The scholars give us some indications. So let's look into these, inshallah. The first thing, they withdraw. You'll see that they're always alone. They're not anymore in the family. They don't sit with the family. They even change their friends. That's another thing. Not only they withdraw, but they change their friends. All the old friends are gone, and there is a new kinds of friends. The ones that actually help them or use with them. Their educational level goes down. Their marks. You will notice that if they're students, their marks will go down. Their performance at work will go down if they're working. They're always angry. Or the easiest thing makes them angry. They're always late because they need time. And they're always asking for money. Always late. If you see these, then you probably want to check and make sure that they're not. If you see any of those, you should check. But if you see all of them, you should really be suspicious. Now what should we do? If I notice that my son, my daughter, has some of these, and then I check, and yes, it turns out there is something wrong. And yes, they've been using. Now, if they come to you and they tell you, Dad, I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. I don't want to use drugs anymore. They're just like the one who repents. And that's the best thing that could ever happen. This is the best scenario. And at that exact moment, the one thing you should not do is sit him down and tell him, I told you before drugs are not good. Don't you know better? Of course they don't know better. If he knew better, he wouldn't have done it. So the first thing you want to do is show him love. You made a mistake? It's obvious. You made a mistake? Yes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts. Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Allah will forget all types of sins. So don't worry. And I love you, and we will work it out. We'll find a way to solve it. And that way would be that we should be involved in our kids' life each and every moment. Even before this. But now it becomes even more important. It's more important that I know every moment how it is spent. Because Shaitan is going to draw him out. Yes, he came and he admitted that that's what's happening. But when he's by himself, or when she is by herself, then Shaitan might withdraw her. Take her. Oh, but just one time. Just to make it, make you feel a little bit, just so you can bear the next day or the next morning. So every moment of their life, you should be involved with their life. Don't you trust me? Trust is something you earn. Trust is not something that I give to somebody. They have to earn it. And once they lose it, they have to work double hard in order to earn it again. Just tell them that. Be blunt with them. Be straight out. Tell them, I will trust you once you prove that you're worthy of that trust. I'm not going to give you trust, you have to earn it. But then we get to a point that we don't know what to do. We need somebody that's professional. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, then ask the people that know. There are special clinics for that. Addicted people go to these clinics. There are special groups for that. And there's, I think, 12 points of what to do. And you know that the nicest thing about these points, even though non-Muslims made it, the last point has to do with da'wah. If you do not advocate staying away from drugs, staying away from being addicted, then you'll never be cured of that addiction. The last point is you have to help somebody else stay away from drugs. Subhanallah. It's just like da'wah. Just like Islam. Promote Islam, it will be easier for you to stay as a Muslim and a good Muslim. The next thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us even Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam needs good companionship. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. They need good friendship. So try as much as possible to find them a good friendship. Choose their friends with them, at least direct them of how to choose a friend and which one is a good friend. Send him to the masajid where they can learn. And it doesn't have to be just the masajid and they sit down and they learn Quran and that. Keep them busy. نفسك إن لم تشغلها بالحق شغلتك بالباطل. Your soul, if you don't keep it busy doing something good, it will keep you busy doing something bad. So if it's swimming, if it's basketball, soccer, league, whatever it is, get them involved, get them busy, even before they get addicted. We need to get our kids busy doing something good. Once they're busy doing something that good, they don't have enough time. They don't have the time to go and do something bad. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who are always involved in their children's lives. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us and to protect our children from the drugs and even going into the side of drugs. ادعوا الله وأنتم موقون بالإجابة. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, drugs and alcohol is all around us. That's why it's a big issue. It's not a small issue. Yes, you might not be affected, but watch it. Your kids might be affected. And the best solution is be always involved in the life of your child, of your teenager. Inshallah, hopefully, the next khutbah, I will talk about some of the ways from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, how to deal with those young, with those youth, according to the hadith, according to the ways of tarbiyah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now the last thing I was asked to remind you, our first and foremost problem as Muslims, as a Muslim ummah, was that we lost Jerusalem and Palestine. All Muslims are equal, but not every place is equal. Mecca is number 1 for Muslims. Medina is number 2 for Muslims. And Quds is number 3 for Muslims. It has a specific holiness to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Udkhulu al-ard al-muqaddasata." Allah have made it sacred. It's a special land. And the people on that land are the people that are protecting it the most and working the most. Last month I was in Palestine. I probably told you that before. And I visited 2 of the orphan houses. There's 3 in the city that I went to, but I visited only 2. And alhamdulillah, you were able. Some of the brothers here, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them, they even told me that they will give some. They told me, let's feed them one day. So we fed 3 orphan houses 3 times, and then we came back to the youngest ones and we fed them one more time, and we fed also the senior citizens. Alhamdulillah. This is something straight. And some of the brothers, like I said, from here, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them, they were part of it. It's not something organized, it's a personal thing. I told them I'm going to do this, and we are friends, and we did it. Now today, everybody has the chance. And since Palestine and the orphans of Palestine are our responsibility, until inshallah Palestine is liberated, inshallah, we want to show that we care. Wallahi, people are being suffocated. And I went only to the West Bank. If you want to know how bad is it in Gaza, multiply it by 10. People are suffocated. People who actually have trades, they cannot find jobs, they cannot find work, they cannot find money. Imagine what's happening in Gaza. Today, inshallah, we are collecting, the masjid is collecting through Islamic Relief for the orphans in Palestine, I think in particular in Gaza. So I'm not going to stand up and tell you give this and that, but this is your child. You know, you take care of those children in Palestine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of your children here, inshallah. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين أن نعصيك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا اللهم إنا نسألك باسمك الأعظم الذي إذا سئلت به أعطيت وإذا دعيت به أجبت وإذا استرحمت به رحمت اللهم فك أسر المسجد الأقصى اللهم فك أسر المسجد الأقصى اللهم فك أسر المسجد الأقصى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وزد ودم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.